I think at its best, it's high energy, it's catchy, it's explosive, it's something I want to come back to. It's hilarious in its simplicity and its ridiculousness. The flows are tight and very on point. And at its worst, the songs on this mixtape essentially have me looking at my watch, waiting for when their 15 minutes are going to be over. There's probably a joke in there somewhere about having an expensive watch. I'll let you guys make that. I'm feeling a decent to strong 5. I'm happy to hear a more focused Migos. Though their style still sounds somewhat one-dimensional on this record, it is still very unique, it is still very bold, it's still very colorful, it's still very energetic, and it is handed to us with relatively little in the way of filler and BS. On culture, I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this one. Overall, I think this project is pretty entertaining, it's pretty good. It doesn't really have a whole lot of substance to give it, I think, the staying power it would need for it to be one of my favorites of the year. Though surely I will give it credit for having some pretty good and pretty infectious hooks here and there, as well as some freakishly cutthroat one-liners. I thought this project was pretty solid, more bangers than snoozers on this thing. I'm feeling a light 7 on this thing. This project is just very low on ideas, it's very bubblegum, it's very shallow, and in my opinion exemplifies just how uninteresting some of these sudden collaborative records can be. When you have a listening audience more interested in the names attached to the project than the substance of what's actually being recorded. I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this thing. Even when you do have a high point on this project, its significance is really just kind of overshadowed by the mediocrity and the pretty much samey vibe that you're getting from nearly every track that surrounds it. Yeah, I'm pretty much feeling a decent to strong 4 on this thing. Whatever you do in your music to make yourself stand out, I'm here to give it a try, but what Takeoff is offering us here is formulaic, pure and simple, and that's it. So even though when this album is on, it's an okay listen, I'm just so utterly bored by it. What makes this a more interesting or refreshing record than Culture or No Label 2? Not really anything. I'm feeling a strong 4 to a light 5 on this thing. Most of the stuff that I liked about this record doesn't really have much directly to do with Quavo, which I think really says a lot about the quality of this album. I'm feeling a strong 4 to a light 5 on this thing. The production is pretty great. Offset does pull together a handful of very good songs. And given the previous 2 Migos solo albums, it definitely surpassed my expectations. I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this thing. This project is really the soundtrack, in my opinion, to not investing in that culture, not adding to it, but doing as much as you possibly can to cash out of it. Just squeeze whatever value is left in it with the cheapest and most easy to create product that you can offer. Feeling a strong 1 to a light 2 on this one. It's actually kind of good, or at least it's surprisingly better than the Culture 3 record that dropped a little while ago. You know, past Culture 1, it kind of seemed like Migos were more and more kind of like phoning it in. The tracks and the structures and the songwriting just felt more wash, rinse, and repeat the further we went down the line. It actually kind of feels like Takeoff and Quavo are a little invested in this one in terms of the bars, in terms of the sample choices, in terms of the hooks. It legitimately makes me wonder, like, was Offset just kind of holding things back and wanting to, you know, just kind of like half-ass the process as a means of just like getting the record done? Because, you know, while I wouldn't say this album is amazing, it seems like Quavo and Takeoff are putting a bit more heart into this project than we got on Culture 3.